How to design your life instead of just drifting through it. Introduction. Your life, your design. Let me ask you something. If you could design your life from scratch, your income, your relationships, your daily habits, your future, what would it look like? Here's the truth most people miss. You already are designing it. Every day, every choice, every small decision compounds into the life you're living right now. The question isn't whether you're designing your life. The question is, are you doing it on purpose or by accident? I spent years drifting, wondering why success seemed to find some people and avoid others. Then I discovered something that changed everything. Success isn't mysterious. It's not luck. It's not about where you were born or who you know. Success is simply a handful of disciplines practiced every day. Failure? It's just a few errors in judgment repeated daily. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't as wide as you think. It's not a canyon. It's a bridge made of small, consistent actions. This book isn't about dreaming bigger. It's about acting smarter. Not next year, not someday. Starting today. In the pages ahead, you'll discover the principles that separate those who drift through life from those who design it. Simple ideas. Powerful results. Your life is waiting to be built. Let's begin. Chapter 1, The Philosophy of Personal Responsibility. I'll never forget the day I had $12 in my pocket and 30 days until rent was due. I was 25 years old, working hard, or so I thought, and going nowhere fast. And like most people in that situation, I had my list ready. The economy was soft. My boss didn't recognize talent. I didn't have the right connections. The deck was stacked against regular folks like me. Then I met a man who changed everything with one simple question. He listened to my whole story, every excuse polished and ready, and then he said, "So after saying all that, what are you going to do about it?" I started to answer, to explain again why my situation was different, why it was harder for me. He held up his hand. "I didn't ask what happened to you. I asked what you're going to do about it." That moment? That was the day my life changed. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. Here's something I learned. Winter is coming. Always. You can complain about winter, you can wish for spring, you can blame the weather, but winter doesn't care. The question isn't whether difficult times will come. They will. The question is, will you be ready? And here's the secret. Getting ready isn't about controlling the weather. It's about controlling yourself. Most people spend their whole lives waiting for better conditions, better economy, better boss, better luck. They're waiting for spring while winter is already here. The person who takes responsibility? They don't wait for spring. They plant seeds in season. They harvest when crops are ready. They prepare during summer for the winter they know is coming. Same seasons, different approach, different results. The tale of two farmers. Let me tell you about two farmers I knew growing up. Both had similar land. Same soil, same weather, same market prices. One farmer spent his time at the coffee shop complaining. Prices are too low. Government doesn't help the small guy. Big farms have all the advantages. Every word he said was probably true. But at the end of the season, his fields showed it. Weeds overtaking crops, repairs left undone, opportunities missed. The other farmer, he'd heard the same complaints his whole life. But while others talked, he worked. He improved his soil. He learned new techniques. He prepared. When drought came, and it always does, the first farmer said, "See, I told you this business is impossible." The second farmer said, "Tough season. What can I learn? How can I prepare better?" One blamed, one built. 10 years later, one was still complaining. The other owned 3 farms. Same circumstances. The difference? Personal responsibility. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. This is what most people get wrong about success. They think successful people had it easier. Better parents, better education, better breaks, and sometimes that's even true. But here's what I learned from studying successful people. They don't focus on what they didn't get. They focus on what they can become. They don't say, "If only I had their advantages." They say, "What do I need to learn? Who do I need to become?" You see, the goal isn't to have an easy life. The goal is to become someone who can handle a difficult one. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. The person you are today got you the results you have today. Want different results? Become a different person. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Here's a phrase I want you to remember. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Most people have it backwards. They work hard at their job, expecting it to make them valuable. But here's the truth. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you bring. If you make yourself more valuable, you become worth more. Not just to your current employer, to the marketplace. Spend more time developing yourself than complaining about your circumstances. Read books, learn skills, study successful people. Invest in becoming someone worth knowing, worth hiring, worth doing business with. Your job will make you a living, but working on yourself, that will make you a fortune. The ant philosophy. You ever watch ants? They've got it figured out. Put an obstacle in front of an ant, and it doesn't quit. It doesn't sit down and blame the obstacle. It goes over it, under it, around it. It just keeps moving. Ants gather food in summer. Why? Because winter is coming. They don't complain about having to work in summer. They don't say, "This isn't fair. I should be able to rest." They understand seasons. They understand preparation. They understand responsibility. An ant carries loads 20 times its body weight. Does it complain? Does it wait for the load to get lighter? No, it gets stronger. We should be at least as smart as ants. Your life, your responsibility, your opportunity. Now here's the part that makes some people uncomfortable, and it's the same part that sets others free. If your life isn't working, that's on you. Your income, your responsibility, your health, your responsibility, your relationships, your responsibility, your future, your responsibility. Some people hear that and get angry. That's not fair. You don't know what I've been through. But other people hear it and feel something else. Hope. Because if it's your responsibility, that means you have power. You're not stuck waiting for someone to rescue you. You're not dependent on circumstances beyond your control. You can do something about it. Today, now. The 5% who change everything. Here's what I've noticed. About 5% of people take full responsibility for their lives. They're the ones who succeed. The other 95%, they spend their energy explaining, justifying, defending why they're stuck. And here's the thing, their explanations are often good ones. They're convincing. They make perfect sense. But explanations don't pay the bills. Excuses don't build wealth. Blame doesn't create opportunity. Action does. Learning does. Becoming better does. Which group do you want to join? Plant in spring, harvest in fall. You can't plant in the fall and expect a harvest. Nature doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. You have to plant when it's planting season. Even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, even when you can't see the results yet. The seeds you plant today won't show up tomorrow. But in the right season, if you planted well and tended carefully, harvest comes. Most people want a harvest, but they never planted. They want the results without the responsibility. Doesn't work that way. Never has. Never will. Starting today. So let me ask you, what seeds are you planting today? Are you blaming the soil, or are you working to improve it? Are you complaining about the season, or are you doing what needs to be done right now? Are you waiting for perfect conditions, or are you taking responsibility for the conditions you have? Your life up until now? That's the harvest of seeds you planted before. Your life from this point forward? That's up to the seeds you plant starting today. Don't wish for better soil. Work the soil you have. Don't wish for different seasons. Master the season you're in. Don't wish it were easier. Get better. Take responsibility. Plant seeds. Tend the garden. Your harvest is coming. Remember, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. If it's going to be, it's up to me. Plant in spring, harvest in fall, no shortcuts. Chapter 2, The 5 People Principle. Let me tell you something that might shake you up a bit. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your income? Probably close to the average of your 5 closest friends. Your attitudes? Your habits? Your level of ambition? Look around at who you're spending time with. That's your future staring back at you. Now some people hear that and get defensive. My friends are good people, they say, and I'm sure they are. But here's the question. Are they taking you where you want to go? The story of the neighbor's garden. When I was young, there were two neighbors with gardens side by side. Same sun, same soil, same rain. One neighbor's garden was immaculate. Vegetables thriving, no weeds, everything in neat rows. The other, overrun with weeds, neglected, barely producing anything. Here's what fascinated me. The weeds from the neglected garden didn't stay in that garden. Seeds blew over the fence. Roots crept under it. The good gardener had to work twice as hard to keep his garden clean because of what was happening next door. Your associations are like that. You can work on yourself, plant good seeds, tend your life carefully, but if you're surrounded by people scattering weed seeds in your direction, you'll spend all your energy fighting weeds instead of growing crops. Eagles don't flock with chickens. You ever notice that eagles fly alone or with other eagles? But chickens? They're always in a crowd, pecking around in the barnyard, making noise but going nowhere. If you want to soar, you can't keep spending all your time in the barnyard. Now, I'm not saying chickens are bad. They serve a purpose. They're fine birds. But if you've got the heart of an eagle, staying in the chicken coop will kill your spirit. You've got to find your flock. The coffee shop conversation. I used to spend my lunch breaks at a coffee shop where the same group gathered every day. Nice people, hard workers, most of them. And they had one thing in common. They complained about their bosses, about the economy, about the government, about their luck. Every single day, the same complaints, the same stories, the same reasons why life was unfair. And you know what? I joined right in. It felt good to commiserate, to have people agree with my problems, to share the misery. Then one day, a different kind of person walked in. He didn't sit with us. He sat alone, reading a book. Actually reading a book during his lunch break while we were busy solving the world's problems with our complaints. I watched him for a week. Always a different book. Always taking notes. Always focused. Finally, I asked him what he was reading. Books on business, he said. I'm planning to start my own company. Must be nice, I said. Some people get those opportunities. He looked at me for a long moment. I'm creating the opportunity. Nobody's giving me anything. That conversation bothered me for days, because here I was spending an hour every day talking about why I couldn't get ahead, while this guy spent his lunch hour learning how to get ahead. Same hour, different use, different future. I had to make a choice. Keep sitting with the complaint department or start investing my time differently. You become like the people you associate with. This isn't opinion, it's observable fact. Hang around positive people, you become more positive. Hang around successful people, you start thinking about success differently. Hang around people who read and learn, you'll start reading and learning. But it works the other way, too. Hang around negative people long enough, their negativity becomes your negativity. Hang around people who make excuses, you'll get better at making excuses. Hang around people going nowhere, and you'll perfect the art of standing still. You don't stay neutral. You drift toward the average of your associations. The fisherman and the crabs. There's an old story about a fisherman who caught crabs and put them in a bucket. A tourist noticed the bucket had no lid. Won't they escape? He asked. The fisherman smiled. Watch. Sure enough, every time a crab tried to climb out, the other crabs pulled it back down. Don't need a lid, the fisherman said. They'll keep each other trapped all day long. Sound familiar? How many times have you tried to improve yourself only to have someone close to you say, "Who do you think you are? You're changing. Remember where you came from? Don't get too big for your britches." They'll pull you back down. Not because they're bad people, but because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your ambition reminds them of their own lack of action. You've got to climb out of that bucket. The hard truth about disassociation. Now here's where it gets difficult. Sometimes you have to love people from a distance. I'm not saying abandon your family. I'm not saying dump your childhood friends. But I am saying this. You have to protect your dreams. You have to guard your goals. You have to be selective about who gets access to your mind and your time. If someone isn't helping you grow, they're helping you shrink. There's no neutral. Limited association with negative people. Expanded association with positive people. It's that simple, and it's that hard. Who's in your inner circle? Let me give you an exercise. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not the people you wish you spent time with. The actual people you're around most often. Now write down their income, their health habits, their attitudes, their goals. Add them up, divide by 5. That's you, or it will be soon. Like the answer, keep that circle. Don't like it? Time to change your associations. Becoming someone worth knowing. Now here's the other side of this coin. If you want to associate with better people, you've got to become better yourself. Eagles don't hang around chickens. Winners don't spend time with complainers. Successful people don't invest their valuable time in people who aren't serious about growth. So ask yourself, what kind of person attracts the kind of people I want to know? Then become that person. Read the books they read. Develop the skills they value. Show up with energy and ideas instead of problems and excuses. Work harder on yourself than you do on trying to impress others. When you become someone of value, valuable people will take notice. The mastermind principle. There's something magical that happens when you get the right people together. Ideas multiply, energy increases, possibilities expand. One log trying to burn alone will die out. But put several logs together and you get a fire that sustains itself. That's the power of the right associations. Find your mastermind group. Find people who are going where you want to go. Find people who will challenge you, inspire you, hold you accountable. Not people who will make you comfortable. People who will make you better. Guard your associations like you guard your income. You wouldn't let just anyone access your bank account, would you? Then why let just anyone access your mind? Everything around you influences you. The conversations you have, the shows you watch, the social media you consume, the people you spend time with, all of it is programming you. Is it programming you for success or for mediocrity? Is it planting seeds of possibility or seeds of limitation? Your associations are an investment. Choose them as carefully as you choose where to put your money. Because in the long run, who you surround yourself with will have a bigger impact on your wealth than almost any other decision you make. Starting where you are. Maybe you're thinking, but I don't know any successful people. I don't have access to those circles. Fair enough. Start where you are. Find one person slightly ahead of you. Learn from them. Join one group of growth-minded people. Contribute value. Read books by people you'd like to learn from, their words or their association. Attend seminars. Take courses. Show up in places where serious people gather. And here's the secret. Stop waiting to be chosen. Start choosing yourself. When you demonstrate that you're serious about growth, doors start opening. The choice is yours. You can't change your associations by accident. It requires a decision. You have to decide. Am I going to keep hanging around the complaint department? Or am I going to find people who are building something? Am I going to stay in the barnyard with the chickens, or am I going to learn to fly with eagles? Am I going to let crabs pull me back in the bucket, or am I going to climb out and never look back? Nobody can make this decision for you. But understand, make no decision, and you've decided to stay exactly where you are. Your associations will determine your destination. Choose wisely. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Limited association with negative people, expanded association with positive people. Eagles don't flock with chickens. Find your flock. To attract better people, become a better person. Guard your associations like you guard your income. One log burns out, multiple logs create a fire that sustains itself. Chapter 3. Small Disciplines, Massive Results. Here's something that'll surprise you. Success isn't about making one giant leap. It's about taking small steps in the right direction every single day. Failure? Same thing. It's not one catastrophic mistake that ruins your life. It's a few small errors in judgment, repeated daily. The difference between success and failure is so small, you can miss it if you're not paying attention. Let me explain. The slight edge. I once knew 2 men who worked at the same factory. Same pay, same shift, same opportunities. Every day after work, one went home and watched TV for 3 hours. The other went home and read for 1 hour, then watched TV for 2. Just 1 hour difference, one small choice. After a year, you couldn't see much difference between them. After 5 years, one had been promoted twice. The other was still in the same position, wondering why life wasn't fair. After 10 years, one owned his own business. The other was still at the factory complaining about people who got all the breaks. Same starting point. One tiny daily discipline, completely different destinations. The apple a day. You know the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. But here's what's interesting. Eat an apple today, and you won't suddenly be healthy. Skip the apple today, and you won't suddenly get sick. That's the problem with disciplines. The results aren't immediate. Eat the apple, nothing happens. Skip the apple, nothing happens. So people think it doesn't matter. But eat the apple every day for 20 years. You're probably healthier than the person who didn't. Skip it every day for 20 years. You're probably dealing with health problems. The apple didn't seem important on any single day, but over time, it was everything. The penny doubled. Let me ask you a question. If I offered you $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for a month, which would you take? Most people grab the $1 million. Instant gratification. Big number. Sounds great. But watch what happens with the penny. Day 1, 1 penny. Day 5, 16 cents. Day 10, $5. Day 15, $164. Day 20, $5,000. Day 25, $168,000. Day 30, $5 million. The penny that seemed insignificant early on becomes 5 times more valuable than the $1 million, but only if you stick with it. That's the power of compound interest, and it doesn't just work with money, it works with everything. Read 10 pages a day seems like nothing. Do it for a year? That's 12 books. Do it for 10 years? That's 120 books. You'll know more than 95% of people in any field you choose. Small disciplines, massive results. Easy to do, easy not to do. Here's the challenge with disciplines. They're easy to do, but they're also easy not to do. It's easy to go for a walk. It's also easy not to go. It's easy to save 10% of your income. It's also easy not to save. It's easy to read instead of watch TV. It's also easy to skip it. The disciplines that will change your life don't require superhuman effort. They require consistent, ordinary effort over an extraordinary amount of time. And because they're easy not to do, most people don't do them. They think, I'll start tomorrow. Missing one day won't matter. And they're right, missing one day won't matter. But missing one day becomes missing 2 days. Missing 2 becomes a week becomes a month. And suddenly you're right back where you started, wondering why nothing ever changes. The farmer can't cheat the harvest. A farmer plants seeds in spring, then what? He waits, he waters, he weeds, he tends. Can he dig up the seeds every week to check if they're growing? No, that would kill them. Can he skip watering because he doesn't see results yet? No. The crops would die. Can he plant in August and expect a harvest in September? No. Nature doesn't work that way. The farmer understands something most people forget. You reap what you sow, but you reap after you sow. There's always a gap between planting and harvesting. Always. Your disciplines are the seeds. Your future success is the harvest. But you can't cheat the seasons. You have to do the work, trust the process, and wait for harvest time. Most people quit planting because they can't see the crops yet. They want instant harvest. Doesn't work that way. Plant today, water tomorrow, weed consistently, harvest will come. The rust on the hinge. You ever notice how a gate hinge rusts? Not all at once, little by little, day by day. So slowly you don't even notice until one day the gate won't open. That's how neglect works. Skip exercise one day. Nothing happens. Skip it for a year. Everything changes. Neglect your education one day, no big deal. Neglect it for 10 years, you're obsolete. Ignore your relationships one day, they'll survive. Ignore them consistently, they'll die. Rust doesn't need your permission, it just needs your neglect. Success requires attention. Failure requires nothing, just neglect. The 6-inch rule. Here's something simple that changed my life. The 6-inch rule. Every day move 6 inches forward, that's it. Not 6 miles, not 6 feet, 6 inches. Read 1 chapter, make 1 call, save $1, learn 1 thing, take 1 step. Seems insignificant, right? That's why it works. It's not overwhelming. You can do it even on your worst day. But 6 inches every day for a year, that's 180 feet. Do that for 10 years? You've moved 1,800 feet, more than a third of a mile. And that's assuming you only move 6 inches. Most days, once you start, you'll move more. But even if you don't, 6 inches is better than standing still. The error of judgment. Now let's talk about the other side. The small errors that lead to failure. Spend slightly more than you earn, just 5%. Seems harmless. Do it for 10 years? You're buried in debt. Skip learning new skills because you're too busy. Do it for 5 years? You're obsolete and unemployable. Eat junk food today, no immediate consequence. Do it for 20 years? Health problems everywhere. The error seems small, the consequences seem distant, so people make the error over and over, day after day, until one day they wake up and wonder, how did I get here? The same way they could have gotten to success, one small choice at a time. Success is a few disciplines practiced daily. Let me say it plain. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Save a little, learn a little, exercise a little, read a little, improve a little. Not once, not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient. Every day, rain or shine, motivated or not, convenient or not. Do that for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you'll be successful. Guaranteed. Not because of one big break, not because of luck, because of accumulated disciplines. Failure is a few errors repeated daily. And failure? Same principle, opposite direction. Spend a little more than you earn. Skip learning, ignore your health, waste time, stay in your comfort zone. Do that every day, you'll fail. Guaranteed. Not because of one big mistake. Not because the world is against you. Because of accumulated neglect. The gap between success and failure isn't dramatic. It's tiny, almost invisible. But over time, that tiny gap becomes a canyon. The choice you make today. Here's the truth. What you do today doesn't matter much, but what you do every day matters more than you can imagine. One workout won't transform your body, but working out consistently for a year, you'll be amazed. One book won't make you an expert, but reading consistently for 5 years, you'll know more than most professionals. One deposit won't make you wealthy, but saving consistently for 20 years, you'll have more than you ever dreamed. The power isn't in the single action. The power is in the consistency. Starting ridiculously small. Maybe you're thinking, this sounds great, but I've tried this before and quit. Here's why. You started too big. You decided to read an hour a day when you hadn't read a book in years. You decided to save 20% when you'd been spending everything. You decided to exercise an hour when you'd been sedentary. Too much, too fast, unsustainable. Start ridiculously small instead. Read 1 page, save $1, walk 10 minutes. So small it feels silly. So small you can't fail. So small you can do it even on your worst day. Get the discipline established first. Worry about the amount later. Because here's the secret. Once the habit is in place, increasing it is easy. But if you burn out trying to do too much, you'll do nothing. And nothing compounds to nothing. The daily battle. Every day you face a choice. Discipline or neglect. Progress or regression. Investment or expense. The choice seems small. The consequences seem distant. But those small choices? They're building your future right now. Every single day, you're either building the life you want or eroding it. Every day, you're either getting better or getting worse. There's no staying the same. The question isn't whether you'll make a choice. You'll make one by default if you don't make one on purpose. The question is, which choice will you make? The harvest is coming. Plant disciplines today, water them tomorrow, tend them consistently. The harvest won't come immediately, but it will come. And when it does, you'll look back and realize, those small, simple things I did every day, they changed everything. Start today. Start small. Start consistent. The compound effect is working in your life right now, either for you or against you. Make it work for you. Remember, success is a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Failure is a few errors in judgment, repeated every day. Easy to do, easy not to do. That's why most people don't do them. You reap what you sow, but you reap after you sow. Start ridiculously small. Consistency beats intensity. The slight edge. Small differences over time create massive results. 6 inches forward every day moves you further than you think. Chapter 4. Goals. Your life's blueprint. Let me tell you about 2 ships that left the same harbor on the same day. One had a destination, charts, a compass, a captain who knew exactly where they were headed. The other just set sail. "We'll see where the wind takes us," the captain said. "We're staying flexible, keeping our options open. Guess which one arrives somewhere meaningful?" Here's what most people miss. A ship without a destination doesn't just drift randomly. It drifts toward rocks, toward storms, toward wherever the current takes it. And the current? The current is designed by other people pursuing their goals. If you don't have your own goals, you'll spend your life helping someone else achieve theirs. The conversation that changed everything. When I was 25, working hard but going nowhere, my mentor asked me a simple question. What are your goals? I said, I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want to make good money. He looked at me and said, those aren't goals. Those are wishes. Everyone wants those things. Tell me something specific. I didn't have anything specific. I'd never actually thought about it. That's your problem, he said. You're like a carpenter without a blueprint, wondering why the house isn't coming together. Then he said something I'll never forget. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. That conversation launched me on a different path, because I realized I'd been working hard, but I hadn't been working toward anything. The difference between a wish and a goal. A wish is, I want to be wealthy. A goal is, I will save $500 per month and invest it in index funds for the next 10 years, giving me approximately $75,000 plus returns. See the difference? A wish is vague, passive, someday thinking. A goal is specific, active, scheduled. A wish requires luck. A goal requires work. Most people have wishes. Very few have goals. And here's why that matters. Your brain can't work on a wish. It's too vague. There's nothing to grab onto. No clear path forward. But give your brain a specific target. It goes to work. It starts noticing opportunities. It starts finding resources. It starts moving you in that direction. Not because of magic. Because you finally gave it something specific to aim for. Why written goals work. Here's something fascinating. Only about 3% of people have written goals. And that 3% accomplishes more than the other 97% combined. Why? Because when you write something down, it becomes real. It moves from the fog of someday into the clarity of this day. Writing forces you to be specific. You can't write, I want to be successful. You have to write something measurable, something with a deadline, something you can actually do. And once it's written, it stops being just a thought. It becomes a commitment. A contract with yourself. I learned this the hard way. For years, I had goals in my head. Sounds good, right? I knew what I wanted. But goals in your head are like money in someone else's pocket, not really yours. The moment I started writing them down, everything changed. The farmer knows the harvest. A farmer doesn't plant corn and hope something good happens. He knows exactly what he's planting. He knows how much land he's using. He knows when harvest should come. He knows approximately what yield to expect. He has a goal, harvest X bushels of corn in October. Now, will everything go perfectly? Probably not. Weather happens, pests happen, unexpected challenges happen, but he's not drifting. He's working toward something specific, and when challenges come, he can adjust his plan while keeping his goal in mind. That's how you have to approach your life. Plant specific seeds, know what harvest you're working toward, adjust tactics as needed, but keep the goal clear. Short-term action, long-term vision. Here's where most people mess up. They set long-term goals but don't break them down into short-term actions. They say, I want to be a millionaire in 10 years. Great. What are you doing today to make that happen? Well, I'm thinking about it. That's not a plan, that's a daydream. Long-term goals give you direction. Short-term actions get you there. You need both. Think long-term, act short-term. The 5-year question. Let me give you a powerful exercise. Imagine it's 5 years from today. You've had 5 great years, really maximized them. Everything went as well as it possibly could given your circumstances. Where are you? What do you do for work? How much do you earn? What does your typical day look like? What skills have you developed? What does your health look like? What do your relationships look like? Get specific, write it down. Paint the picture in detail. That's your target. That's your harvest. Now ask, if that's where I want to be in 5 years, what do I need to do this year to move toward it? And if that's what I need to do this year, what do I need to do this month? And if that's this month's target, what do I need to do this week? And if that's this week, what do I need to do today? Suddenly, your 5-year goal isn't overwhelming. It's just today's action, repeated consistently. Goals must be written, specific, and scheduled. Let me give you the formula for a real goal. First, it must be written, not typed on your phone where you'll never look at it again. Written on paper where you see it regularly. Second, it must be specific. Get in shape isn't a goal. Lose 20 pounds by July 1st by exercising 4 times per week and eliminating sugar is a goal. Third, it must be scheduled. No deadline means no urgency. No urgency means no action. I want to read more isn't a goal. I will read 1 book per month for the next year. Finishing 12 books by December 31st is a goal. See how that works? Your brain now has something to work with. The purpose of a goal. Here's something people misunderstand. The purpose of a goal isn't just to achieve it. The purpose of a goal is to make you grow into the kind of person who can achieve it. Let's say you set a goal to earn $100,000 a year. Right now you earn $40,000. The goal forces you to ask, what kind of person earns $100,000? What skills do they have? What value do they provide? What do they know that I don't? Then you start becoming that person. You learn those skills. You provide that value. You gain that knowledge. Even if you don't hit $100,000 in your time frame, you've still become someone worth $70,000 or $80,000. You've grown. That's the real power of goals. They pull you forward. They make you stretch. They force you to become more. Why most goals fail. Now let's talk about why most people set goals and never achieve them. First reason. The goal wasn't really theirs. It was what they thought they should want, or what someone else wanted for them. If the goal doesn't genuinely excite you, you won't do the work. Simple as that. Second reason. No plan. They set the goal but didn't break it down into daily actions. They knew where they wanted to go, but not how to get there. Third reason. No accountability. They told no one. They wrote it down and forgot about it. No one was checking in. No one was holding them to it. Fourth reason. They quit at the first setback. They thought goals were supposed to be easy. When obstacles showed up, they decided it wasn't meant to be. But here's the truth. Every worthwhile goal comes with obstacles. That's how you know it's worth pursuing. If it were easy, everyone would do it and it wouldn't be valuable. The obstacle is the way. When you set a real goal, something that stretches you, obstacles will come. Guaranteed. You'll get busy. You'll get tired. You'll face setbacks. You'll have moments of doubt. This is where most people quit. They take the obstacle as a sign they should stop. But the obstacle isn't a stop sign, it's a test. It's asking, how badly do you want this? The farmer doesn't quit because there's a drought. He finds water. He adjusts. He persists. You have to develop that same mentality. Obstacles don't mean you're on the wrong path. Usually they mean you're on the right path, and it's testing whether you're serious. Course corrections, not quitting. Now, I'm not saying you can never adjust your goals. Sometimes you set a goal and realize it's not right for you. That's okay. Adjust. Sometimes circumstances change and you need a new approach. That's fine. Adapt. But here's the difference. A course correction is strategic. Quitting is emotional. Course correction says, this path isn't working. Let me find a better route to the same destination. Quitting says, this is hard. I'm going back to comfort. Big difference. The ship can change its route when it hits a storm, but it doesn't turn around and go back to harbor. Review and revise. Here's a discipline that will change everything. Review your goals every day. Every morning, read what you wrote. Remind yourself where you're headed. Ask yourself what you need to do today to move forward. Every evening, review what you did. Did you move closer to your goals? If not, why not? What will you do differently tomorrow? Once a month, do a deeper review. Are you on track? Do you need to adjust anything? What's working? What's not? Goals aren't something you set and forget. They're living, breathing commitments that require constant attention. The life you design. Here's the bottom line. 5 years from now, you'll arrive somewhere. The question is, will you arrive by design or by default? Will you be somewhere you chose or somewhere you drifted? Will you have built what you wanted? Or will you be living in someone else's blueprint? Goals are your blueprint. They're how you design your life instead of just reacting to it. Most people spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than planning their entire life. Don't be most people. Get clear, get specific, get moving. Your life is waiting to be designed. Start today. Remember, if you don't design your own life plan, you'll fall into someone else's plan. Goals must be written, specific, and scheduled. A wish is passive, a goal is active. Think long-term, act short-term. The purpose of a goal is to make you grow into the person who can achieve it. Review your goals daily. What gets measured gets managed. Obstacles aren't stop signs, they're tests of commitment. Chapter 5. Financial Independence Fundamentals. Let me tell you about the day I discovered I was poor. I was 25 years old, working full-time, and I had $12 to my name. $12 with rent due in 3 weeks. But here's what bothered me most. I couldn't figure out where the money went. I worked 40 hours a week. I got paid. And somehow, by the end of the month, it was all gone. Every time. I thought the problem was that I didn't make enough money. My mentor saw it differently. You don't have an income problem, he said. You have a philosophy problem. That statement changed my life. It's not about how much you make. Here's something most people get wrong. They think wealth is about income. If I just made more money, everything would be fine. But then they get a raise, and 6 months later, they're broke again. Just broke at a higher income level. I've seen people making $30,000 a year who are building wealth. And I've seen people making $300,000 who are drowning in debt. The difference isn't income, it's philosophy. How you handle $1,000 is how you'll handle $10,000. How you handle $10,000 is how you'll handle $100,000. If you can't manage a little, you won't manage a lot. The farmer doesn't eat his seeds. A farmer harvests corn in the fall. Now he's got a choice. He can eat all the corn, have a big feast, enjoy every bit of it right now. Or he can set some aside as seed for next year's crop. Eat all the corn, and next year he has nothing to plant. He's dependent on luck, charity, or someone else's generosity. Save some for seeds, and next year he'll have another harvest, and the year after that, and the year after that. Your income is your harvest. The question is, are you eating all your seeds? Most people do. Every dollar that comes in goes right back out. Nothing left to plant for the future. Then they wonder why they're always broke, always dependent, always one emergency away from disaster. The wealthy understand seed corn. They set it aside first before they spend on anything else. The 70-30 rule. Here's a rule that will change your financial life if you let it. Live on 70% of your income. Do something productive with the other 30%. Now, some of you just panicked. I can't live on 70%. I'm barely making it on 100%. Let me ask you this. If your income was cut by 30% tomorrow, would you survive? Of course you would. You'd figure it out. You'd cut back. You'd adjust. So why not make that adjustment now, by choice, and use that 30% to build your future instead of waiting for an emergency to force you? Here's how the 30% breaks down. 10% goes to charity or giving. This keeps you from becoming selfish with money. 10% goes to savings. This becomes your emergency fund and future investments. 10% goes to reducing debt, or, if you're debt-free, to additional investments. Simple formula, powerful results. But I can't afford to save 30%. Fine, start with 10%, start with 5%, start with something. Because here's the truth. If you can't save when you're making $30,000, you won't save when you're making $60,000 either. You'll just have more expensive problems. Start the discipline now, at whatever level you can. The amount matters less than the habit. Profit is better than wages. Here's something my mentor taught me that changed everything. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. When you work for wages, you trade time for money. You work an hour, you get paid for an hour. Stop working, stop getting paid. That's fine for making a living, but it'll never make you wealthy. Wealth comes from profit. Profit is what's left after you provide value. You buy something for $50, add value to it, sell it for $100, that's $50 profit. You start a business that serves customers even when you're sleeping. That's profit. You invest money that grows while you're doing other things. That's profit. Wages are linear. Work more hours, make more money. Stop working, make nothing. Profits compound. Do the work once, get paid multiple times. If you want financial independence, you need multiple profit centers, not just wages. Multiple streams of income. A farmer doesn't just grow one crop. Too risky. What if that crop fails? He grows corn and soybeans, maybe raises some cattle, maybe rents out some land. Multiple streams of income. You need the same approach. Maybe you have your job. That's stream one. But what else? Could you freelance your skills in the evenings? Could you buy something used and resell it for profit? Could you invest in dividend-paying stocks? Could you create something once and sell it repeatedly? I'm not saying quit your job and become an entrepreneur overnight. I'm saying don't put all your financial eggs in one basket. Start small. Build a second stream that brings in $100 a month, then $500, then more. Over time, those additional streams add up. And more importantly, they change your relationship with money. You're no longer completely dependent on one source. That's when you start feeling real financial security. Invest in yourself first. Here's the best investment you'll ever make: yourself. Before you invest in stocks, real estate, or someone else's business, invest in increasing your own value. Take courses, read books, develop skills, learn from people who've done what you want to do. Why? Because all other investments can be taken away. Market crashes, businesses fail, real estate can lose value. But what you know, what you can do, what you've become, that can never be taken from you. And the return on investing in yourself is unlimited. Invest $1,000 in stocks, maybe you get 10% return. That's $100. Invest $1,000 in learning a skill that increases your income by $5,000 a year. That's a 500% return every single year. Make yourself more valuable and money follows. The wealth formula. Here's the simple formula for building wealth. Earn more, spend less, invest the difference, repeat. That's it. Nothing complicated, nothing that requires a finance degree. Earn more. Increase your value, develop skills, create additional income streams. Spend less. Live on 70% or 80% instead of 100%. Cut the waste. Buy assets, not liabilities. Invest the difference. Put your money to work in things that grow over time. Repeat. Do this consistently for 10, 20, 30 years. The magic isn't in the formula. The magic is in the consistency. Anyone can do this for a month. Very few do it for a decade. But those who do, they build real wealth. Assets versus liabilities. Let me make this simple. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. A rental property that generates income? Asset. A house you live in that costs you money every month? Liability. Stocks that pay dividends? Asset. A car that depreciates and costs you insurance and maintenance? Liability. A skill that increases your earning power? Asset. A big screen TV that entertains you but generates nothing? Liability. Now, I'm not saying never buy liabilities. Life isn't just about money. Sometimes you buy things because you enjoy them. But understand what you're buying. And make sure you're building assets faster than you're accumulating liabilities. Most people do it backwards. They buy liabilities and wonder why they're broke. Buy assets. Use the profits from assets to buy liabilities if you want them. The emergency fund. Before you invest in anything else, build an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting in a savings account. But that money isn't growing. I should invest it. The emergency fund isn't for growth. It's for peace of mind and protection. Car breaks down, you got it covered. Medical emergency, you've got it covered. Lose your job? You've got time to find a new one without panicking. Without an emergency fund, you're one crisis away from debt. One unexpected expense away from destroying all your financial progress. Plant this seed first. Let it sit there. Don't touch it unless there's a real emergency. This one decision will change your relationship with money and stress. The compound effect of money. Remember the penny that doubles every day? Same principle applies to your investments. Save $500 a month starting at age 25, invested at 8% average return. By age 65, you'll have about $1.4 million. Wait until age 35 to start? You'll have about $600,000. Wait until age 45, about $250,000. Same monthly amount, different start dates, massively different results. Time is your greatest asset when it comes to building wealth. The earlier you start, the less you have to save to reach the same goal. That's compound interest working for you instead of against you. Most people understand compound interest when they're paying it on credit cards. They're horrified watching their debt grow. Use that same power in reverse. Let your money compound for you instead of against you. Pay yourself first. Here's the discipline most people never develop. Pay yourself first. Most people pay everyone else, the landlord, the credit card company, the phone company, and then save whatever's left over, which is usually nothing. Flip it around. The day you get paid, the first check you write is to yourself, to your savings, to your investments, to your future. Then you live on what's left. But what if there's not enough left? Then Then you learn to live on less. You cut back. You adjust. Because if you don't pay yourself first, you'll never pay yourself at all. This one discipline, practiced for 20 years, is the difference between financial independence and financial dependence. Starting from here. Maybe you're thinking, this is great advice, but I'm already in debt. I'm already behind. I'm already broke. So what? You start from here. The farmer who neglected his fields doesn't give up farming. He starts preparing the soil for next season. You can't change what you did yesterday, but you can change what you do today. Stop the bleeding first. Stop accumulating new debt. Stop eating all your seed corn. Then start building, slowly, consistently. Save $5 a week if that's all you can manage. It's not about the amount. It's about establishing the discipline. Once the discipline is in place, the amounts will grow. But you have to start. You have to plant the first seed. Financial independence is a choice. Here's the truth. Financial independence isn't about luck. It's not about inheritance. It's not about winning the lottery. It's about philosophy, about discipline, about consistent, smart decisions over a long period of time. Live on less than you earn, save the difference. Invest wisely, develop multiple income streams, increase your value. Do these things for 20 years and you'll be financially independent. Skip these things for 20 years and you'll be financially dependent. 20 years will pass either way. The question is, what will you have built by then? Start building today. Remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep and what you do with it. The 70-30 rule, live on 70%, invest 30%. Don't eat your seed corn, save before you spend. Wages make you a living, profits make you a fortune. Invest in yourself first. It's the best return you'll ever get. Build assets, not liabilities. Pay yourself first every single time. Time and compound interest are your greatest allies. Start now. Chapter 6. Continuous Learning, Continuous Earning. I'll never forget the day I met a millionaire who worked as a janitor. Not a former janitor who got lucky. An actual janitor, still working, still mopping floors. I was confused. If you're a millionaire, why are you still doing this? He smiled. I like the work. It's simple, honest. But more importantly, it gives me 8 hours a day to listen to audiobooks and think. Then he said something that stuck with me. Most people work 8 hours and go home the same person they were when they arrived. I work 8 hours and go home smarter, more knowledgeable, more valuable than when I started. After 30 years of that? Well, you can imagine. That's when I understood. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. The real difference between rich and poor. Poor people have big TVs. Rich people have big libraries. Poor people spend their evenings being entertained. Rich people spend their evenings being educated. Poor people think learning ended when school ended. Rich people know learning is just beginning. I'm not talking about intelligence. Some of the smartest people I know are broke. Some of the wealthiest people I know weren't great students. The difference isn't IQ. It's the commitment to continuous learning. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Let me say this again because it's critical. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. Your job pays you for your time. Fair enough. But your time has value based on what you know, what you can do, what problems you can solve. Increase what you know, and your time becomes more valuable. Learn new skills, and opportunities multiply. Become more valuable, and money follows. Most people spend 40 hours a week working on their job and 0 hours working on themselves. Then they wonder why they're stuck at the same income level year after year. If you spent just 1 hour a day, 1 hour working on yourself, in 5 years you'd be a completely different person. In 10 years, unrecognizable. That's the power of continuous learning, the 5-hour rule. Some of the most successful people in the world follow what's called the 5-hour rule. They dedicate at least 5 hours per week to deliberate learning, reading, taking courses, practicing new skills, thinking deeply. Warren Buffett reads 5 to 6 hours per day. Bill Gates reads 50 books per year. Oprah credits much of her success to constant reading. Not because they have extra time, because they make it a priority. 5 hours a week. That's less than 1 hour per day. If you can find time to watch TV, scroll social media, or follow sports, you can find 5 hours for learning. The question isn't whether you have time. The question is, what are you doing with the time you have? Reading the foundation. If I could give you only one piece of advice for building wealth, it would be this. Read. Read books on business, on psychology, on success, on your industry, on skills you want to develop. Read biographies of people who've accomplished what you want to accomplish. Read about money, investing, leadership, communication. Read 30 minutes a day. That's 1 book every 2 weeks, 26 books a year. Do that for 10 years. That's 260 books. You'll know more than 99% of people in any field you choose to study. And here's the beautiful thing. Books are cheap. A $20 book can contain knowledge that took someone 30 years to learn. You're not buying paper. You're buying decades of experience, distilled into a format you can absorb in a few hours. Show me your library and I'll predict your future. The difference between information and transformation. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They consume information, but never apply it. They read the book, feel inspired, then do nothing different. They take the course, learn the material, then go back to the same old habits. Information without application is just entertainment. The goal isn't to collect information. The goal is transformation. Read the book, then implement one idea from it. Take the course, then use what you learned this week. Study successful people, then model what they did. Learning isn't about knowing more. It's about becoming more. Learn from those who've done it. Here's a shortcut that will save you years. Learn from people who've already accomplished what you want to accomplish. You want to build a business? Study people who've built successful businesses. You want to be healthy? Study people who've achieved lasting health. You want financial independence? Study people who've built wealth. Why spend 10 years making mistakes someone else already made and learned from? Find mentors. Read their books. Listen to their interviews. Study their paths. They've already paid the tuition. They've already learned the lessons. They're offering you the answers. Most people are too proud to learn from others. They want to figure it all out themselves. That's not independence. That's stupidity. Smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from other people's mistakes. The university of life? I never finished college. Some people think that's a disadvantage. But here's what I did instead. I attended the University of Life. I read thousands of books. I listened to hundreds of seminars. I studied under successful people. I tried things, failed, learned, adjusted, tried again. And you know what? The education I gave myself was worth more than any degree. Not because formal education is bad, it's valuable, but because self-education is unlimited. A degree gets you hired. Self-education gets you promoted. A degree proves you can learn. Self-education proves you never stopped. The most valuable education isn't the one someone gives you, it's the one you give yourself. Skills stack like compound interest. Here's something powerful. Skills compound. Learn sales, and you increase your value. Learn marketing, and you increase it more. Add leadership skills, even more valuable. Each skill multiplies the others. A developer who can code is valuable. A developer who can code and communicate well, much more valuable. Add understanding of business, even more. Most people try to become experts in one narrow thing. Smart people develop multiple complementary skills. You don't have to be the best in the world at any one thing. You just need to be good at several things that work together. That combination makes you unique, valuable, irreplaceable. The morning ritual. Let me share something that changed my life. The morning learning ritual. Before I do anything else, before I check email, before I start work, before I get caught up in the day's urgencies, I spend the first hour learning. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I listen to educational content. Sometimes I practice a skill. But that first hour, it's mine. It's invested in becoming better. Most people start their day reacting. Email, messages, other people's priorities. I start my day growing, learning, investing in myself. By 9 a.m., I've already won the day. I've already done something to improve myself. Everything else is bonus. That 1 hour, repeated for a year, 365 hours of learning. That's more than most people invest in themselves in 5 years. Conferences and seminars. Once a year, invest in attending at least one conference or seminar in your field. But they're expensive. Compared to what? Staying stuck, staying average, never growing? A conference might cost $1,000. But the one idea you get, the one connection you make, the one insight you gain, that could be worth $10,000 or $100,000. Plus, conferences put you in rooms with people who are serious about growth. Remember Chapter 2? You become like the people you associate with. A weekend conference surrounds you with growth-minded people, concentrated learning, and focused energy. That's worth far more than the ticket price. Learn from failure. Here's something most people miss. Failure is education in disguise. The farmer plants seeds. Some don't grow. He doesn't quit farming. He studies what went wrong. Too much water? Not enough? Wrong soil? Wrong timing? Next season, he adjusts. He learns something. Every failure teaches you something if you're willing to learn. The question after every setback isn't, why did this happen to me? It's, what can I learn from this? Most people avoid failure like it's shameful. Successful people embrace it as education. The fastest way to learn is to try things. Fail quickly, learn from it, adjust, and try again. Failure only becomes permanent when you stop learning from it. The obsolescence factor. Here's something scary. In today's world, your knowledge becomes obsolete faster than ever. The skills that got you hired 5 years ago might not be enough to keep you employed 5 years from now. Technology changes, industries evolve, best practices shift. If you're not learning new things, you're becoming obsolete. Slowly, quietly, but definitely. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. The antidote to obsolescence is continuous learning. Stay current, stay relevant, stay valuable. The person who says, I already know everything I need to know is the person who will be unemployable in 10 years. Questions are more important than answers. Here's something I learned. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. Poor people ask, how can I afford this? Rich people ask, how can I earn enough to afford this? Poor questions lead to poor answers. Rich questions lead to rich answers. Start asking better questions. What do I need to learn to double my income? Who has solved the problem I'm facing? What skill would make me twice as valuable? What book would change my perspective? What's the one thing I could learn that would impact everything else? Better questions lead to better learning. Better learning leads to better results. Your mind is your greatest asset. Everything you have, your income, your opportunities, your relationships, your future, all of it flows from what's in your mind. Your mind created your current results. Want different results? Upgrade your mind. That happens through continuous learning. Feed your mind the way you feed your body, daily, consistently, with quality inputs. Garbage in, garbage out. Quality in, quality out. Your income will rarely exceed your personal development. Want to double your income? Double your value. Double your knowledge. Double what you're capable of. The market pays for value. Become more valuable, earn more money. Starting today. Maybe you haven't read a book in years. That's okay. Start today. Maybe you don't know what to learn. That's okay. Start with the basics of your field or your interests. Maybe you think you're too old to learn new things. You're not. Your brain can grow at any age. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. Pick one book, read one chapter, learn one new thing, apply one idea. Then tomorrow do it again. In a year, you'll be amazed at what you know. In 5 years, you'll be a different person. In 10 years, you'll be living a different life. All because you decided today to become a lifelong learner. Learning isn't just about knowing more. It's about becoming more, earning more, living more. Continuous learning, continuous earning. Start learning today. Remember, formal education makes you a living. Self-education makes you a fortune. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Read 30 minutes daily, it compounds into transformation. The 5-hour rule. Dedicate 5 hours weekly to deliberate learning. Learn from those who've already done what you want to do. Skills stack and multiply your value. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. Questions are more important than answers. Ask better questions. Failure is education in disguise. Learn from every setback. Invest in yourself first. It's the best investment you'll ever make. Chapter 7. The Seasons of Your Life. Every year, like clockwork, winter comes. The farmer knows this. He doesn't complain about it. He doesn't wish it away. He doesn't act surprised when the temperature drops and the ground freezes. He prepares for it. In summer, When the sun is shining and crops are growing, he's already thinking about winter. He's storing grain. He's fixing the barn roof. He's making sure he'll survive the cold months ahead. That's wisdom. Your life has seasons too. And just like the farmer, you need to understand them, respect them, and prepare for them. Most people don't. They act surprised when winter comes. Then they suffer through it, unprepared, wondering why life is so hard. The 4 seasons of life. Let me explain how this works. Spring is opportunity. It's planting time. It's when you take action, start new things, plant seeds for the future. Summer is growth. It's when you cultivate, nurture, protect what you planted. It's hard work, but you can see progress. Fall is harvest. It's when you reap the rewards of what you planted and tended. It's the payoff. Winter is rest and reflection, but also challenge. It's when things die back, when resources are scarce, when you live off what you stored during harvest. Every life goes through these seasons, every business, every relationship, every opportunity. The wise person recognizes which season they're in and acts accordingly. The fool tries to harvest in spring or plant in winter and wonders why nothing works. Spring, the season of opportunity. Spring doesn't last forever. That's the first thing to understand. When opportunity knocks, and it always does, usually when you're not quite ready, you have to act. You have to plant. But I'm not ready yet. Let me wait until conditions are perfect. Conditions are never perfect. Spring doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The farmer doesn't wait for the perfect weather. He plants when it's planting season, even if it's still a bit cold, even if rain is forecast, even if he's tired. Because he knows Miss Spring and you've missed your chance for this year's harvest. How many people miss their spring? How many wait for perfect conditions that never come? Opportunity has a season. Act during that season or watch it pass. You can't hire someone to do your push-ups. Here's something about spring. You have to do the work yourself. The farmer can't hire someone to plant his fields and expect the same results. He has to be there. He has to get his hands dirty. He has to do the work. You can't hire someone to read for you. You can't hire someone to exercise for you. You can't hire someone to build relationships for you. Some things you just have to do yourself. And spring is when you do them. Spring is when you take action, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're not sure of the outcome. Plant now. Worry about perfect technique later. Just get the seeds in the ground. Summer, protect your crops. After you plant comes summer, the season of growth and cultivation. This is where most people fail. They plant seeds, then walk away. They start projects, then neglect them. They begin with enthusiasm, then forget to follow through. The farmer doesn't just plant and hope. He waters, he weeds, he protects against pests, he tends the crops every single day. Why? Because weeds grow faster than crops. Pests attack when you're not watching. Neglect kills growth. Your goals are the same way. Your business, your health, your relationships. Plant them in spring, then neglect them in summer, they'll die. Guaranteed. Summer is about consistent daily attention. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, it's just showing up day after day doing the work. But that's where the real growth happens. The weeds of neglect. You know what's interesting about weeds? They don't need any help growing. You don't plant weeds. You don't water weeds. You don't fertilize weeds. They just grow. Automatically, wherever you allow neglect. Neglect your garden. Weeds take over. Neglect your health. Problems grow. Neglect your relationships, distance grows. Neglect your finances, debt grows. Weeds don't need your permission. They just need your neglect. That's why summer, the season of cultivation, is so critical. You have to actively tend what you want to keep. You have to pull weeds regularly. You have to protect your crop. Success requires attention. Failure requires nothing, just neglect. Fall, time to harvest. Then comes fall, harvest time. This is when you reap what you sowed. If you planted well in spring and tended carefully in summer, fall brings rewards. You harvest. You celebrate. You enjoy the fruits of your labor. But here's what most people miss. You can't harvest what you didn't plant. You can't reap in fall what you neglected in summer. You can't demand results when you didn't do the work. The harvest is a natural consequence of the planting and tending, not before, not without. And here's the thing about fall, it doesn't last forever either. When harvest comes, you gather it, all of it. You don't leave crops in the field saying, I'll get them later. Later they'll rot. Later they'll be gone. When opportunity comes to collect on your work, you collect. You don't procrastinate. You don't wait for a more convenient time. Harvest season has a deadline. Miss it, and you've wasted everything you worked for. Store for the winter. Now here's where wisdom really shows up. The smart farmer doesn't consume everything he harvests. He stores some for winter, because he knows winter is coming. As sure as the sun rises, winter will come. Hard times, difficult seasons, periods of scarcity. That's not pessimism, that's reality. And the person who didn't prepare during harvest? They suffer during winter. In your life, this means when times are good, prepare for when times aren't good. When you're earning well, save money. When you're healthy, build habits. When relationships are strong, invest in them deeper. Don't spend everything during harvest. Don't assume the good times will last forever. They won't. They never do. Winter always comes. Winter, the test. Winter is the season that separates the prepared from the unprepared. Same winter, same cold, same scarcity, but two completely different experiences. The farmer who prepared. He's inside, warm, with food stored up. Winter is uncomfortable but survivable. He might even use this time to plan for next spring. The farmer who didn't prepare? He's desperate. He's suffering. He's begging others for help. Same season, different preparation, different results. In your life, winter might be losing your job, health crisis, business downturn, relationship challenge, economic recession. You can't prevent winter, but you can prepare for it. The emergency fund you built, that's winter preparation. The skills you learn, that's winter preparation. The relationships you invested in, that's winter preparation. The habits you developed, that's winter preparation. Winter doesn't destroy the prepared. It only destroys the unprepared. Don't confuse winter with death. Here's something important. Winter isn't the end, it's just a season. Trees look dead in winter, but they're not dead. They're dormant, resting, preparing for spring. When you're going through a difficult season, it's easy to think it's over. Your dreams are dead. Your goals are impossible. Your life is finished. Not true. You're just in winter. Winter passes. It always does. Spring comes again. The question is, will you survive winter in good enough shape to take advantage of the next spring? Each season has its purpose. Spring, plant new opportunities. Summer, tend and protect what you started. Fall, harvest the rewards. Winter, rest, reflect, prepare, survive. You need all four seasons. They each serve a purpose. Without spring, nothing new begins. Without summer, nothing grows. Without fall, you have no reward. Without winter, you never rest or reflect or develop resilience. Don't resent the season you're in. Understand it. Work with it. Do what that season requires. Don't try to harvest in spring. Don't try to plant in winter. Match your actions to your season. Recognizing your season. So which season are you in right now? Are you in spring? Then plant. Start things. Take action. Launch. Begin. Are you in summer? Then tend. Work consistently. Protect what you started. Don't give up halfway. Are you in fall? Then harvest. Collect on your work. Celebrate your wins. But store some for winter. Are you in winter? Then survive. Use what you stored. Develop resilience. Plan for the next spring. Don't make major decisions when you're cold and hungry. Most people are in the wrong season mentally. They're in spring, but they're waiting to harvest. They're in summer, but they're not tending their crops. They're in fall, but they're still planting instead of gathering. You have to recognize your season and act accordingly. Life has multiple seasons simultaneously. Here's something else to understand. You can be in different seasons in different areas of your life at the same time. Maybe your career is in summer, growing but requiring constant attention. Your finances might be in fall, harvesting the rewards of past discipline. Your health might be in winter, facing challenges, surviving on past reserves. A new relationship might be in spring, full of possibility and planting. Each area has its own season. Each requires different attention. The wise person recognizes this and allocates energy appropriately. Prepare in summer for winter. Let me say this clearly. The time to prepare for winter is not winter. It's summer. When things are going well, that's when you prepare for when things aren't going well. When you're earning money, save some. When you're healthy, build good habits. When business is good, set reserves aside. When relationships are strong, invest deeper. Don't wait until winter to start preparing for winter. By then, it's too late. The farmer doesn't fix his barn roof in the middle of a blizzard. He fixes it in July when the sun is shining. Fix your roof while the sun is shining. Winter makes you stronger. Here's the paradox. Winter is hard, but winter makes you strong. The tree that survives harsh winters has deeper roots than the tree that grew in constant sunshine. The person who survives winter with their character intact is stronger, wiser, more resilient than before. Winter tests you, reveals you, strengthens you, if you let it. Don't waste your winters wishing for summer. Use winter to develop the strength you'll need for the next cycle. Spring always comes again. No matter how long winter lasts, spring comes again. Always, opportunities return, growth resumes, new possibilities emerge. If you survived winter, if you prepared, if you endured, if you learned, you'll be ready for spring. And this spring, you'll be wiser than last spring. You'll plant better. You'll tend more carefully. You'll harvest more abundantly. Each cycle teaches you. Each season prepares you for the next, living in harmony with the seasons. The farmer doesn't fight the seasons. He works with them. He doesn't complain that winter is cold or summer is hot. He expects it. He prepares for it. He uses each season for its purpose. You need the same approach to life. Stop fighting your current season. Accept it. Understand it. Do what it requires. Plant in spring, tend in summer, harvest in fall, survive in winter. Then watch the cycle begin again, wiser and stronger than before. The seasons will change whether you're ready or not. The question is, will you change with them? Remember, life has seasons: spring, plant, summer, tend, fall, harvest, winter, survive. Each season has its purpose. Work with them, not against them. You can't harvest what you didn't plant. Prepare in summer for winter. Don't wait until winter to prepare. Spring doesn't last. Seize opportunity when it comes. Weeds grow automatically. Success requires constant tending. Winter isn't death. It's just a season that passes. Winter makes you stronger if you survive it with character. Spring always comes again. Be ready for it. Match your actions to your season. Don't plant in winter or harvest in spring. Conclusion. Begin today. Let me tell you one last story. Two men stood at the edge of a field. Both were the same age. Both had the same opportunities. Both had dreams of a better life. The first man looked at the field and said, "This is going to take years. I'll be 45 before I see any real results. That's too long." So he walked away. Found easier things to do, stayed comfortable. The second man looked at the same field and said, "I'll be 45 anyway. Might as well be 45 with a harvest." So he planted. Day after day, season after season. 5 years later, the first man was still complaining about how long things take. The second man was harvesting. Same 5 years, same amount of time passed. Different choices, different results. The time will pass anyway. Here's the truth you need to hear. The time is going to pass whether you act or not. 5 years from now will come. 10 years from now will come. 20 years from now will come. The only question is, what will you have built by then? Will you arrive somewhere by design, or will you arrive by default wondering how you ended up there? Most people spend their whole lives waiting. Waiting for the right time. Waiting for better conditions. Waiting for permission. Waiting until they feel ready. They're still waiting at 60. Don't be that person. The right time is now. The better conditions come from your actions, not before them. You don't need permission. You'll never feel completely ready. Start anyway, your 30-day action plan. Let me give you something practical. Something you can do right now, today, that will start changing your life. For the next 30 days, commit to these simple disciplines. Week 1, take responsibility. Write down 3 areas of your life you're unhappy with. For each one, write what you've been blaming: circumstances, people, bad luck. Cross out the blame and write, "What can I do about this?" Take one action, any action, toward improving each area. Week 2, evaluate your circle. List the 5 people you spend the most time with. Rate each person. Are they pulling you up or pulling you down? Find one person who's ahead of where you want to be. Reach out to them. Ask one question. Start building that relationship. Week 3, establish your disciplines. Choose 3 small daily disciplines. Read 10 pages, save $5, walk 10 minutes. Write them down where you'll see them every morning. Do them every single day for 7 days. Track your progress. Check off each day you complete them. Week 4, set your goals. Write down where you want to be 1 year from today. Be specific. Income, skills, health, relationships. Break it into quarterly milestones. Identify the one action you need to take this week to move toward it. Take that action. That's it. 30 days, 4 simple weeks. Nothing complicated, nothing overwhelming, just consistent, purposeful action. Do this for 30 days, and I promise, you'll be different. You'll see possibilities you didn't see before. You'll have momentum you didn't have before. And momentum, that's everything. The success formula, one more time. Let me remind you of what we've covered, because these aren't just ideas, they're the blueprint. Personal responsibility. Stop blaming. Start building. Your life is your responsibility, which means your future is in your hands. Your associations. You become like the people you spend time with. Choose wisely. Protect your circle. Become someone worth knowing. Daily disciplines. Success is simple disciplines practiced daily. Failure is simple errors repeated daily. Small actions compound into massive results. Clear goals. If you don't design your life, you'll fall into someone else's design. Write your goals. Review them daily. Take action toward them consistently. Financial fundamentals. Live on less than you earn. Save the difference. Invest in assets. Build multiple streams. Pay yourself first. Continuous learning. Work harder on yourself than on your job. Read daily. Learn constantly. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. Understanding seasons. Life has seasons. Plant in spring. Tend in summer. Harvest in fall. Survive winter. Work with the seasons, not against them. That's the formula. That's the path. That's what works. Not sometimes. Not for lucky people. For everyone who applies it consistently over time. The life you deserve. You deserve a life you're proud of. A life you designed. A life that reflects your values and your effort. Not because you're special, although you are. Not because you're better than anyone else. You're not. But because you're willing to do what most people won't do. Take responsibility. Make a plan. Do the work. Stay consistent. Keep learning. Never quit. That's all it takes. Most people won't do it. They'll read this, feel inspired for a day, then go back to their old habits. But you're different. You didn't read this far because you're looking for entertainment. You read this far because you're looking for transformation. You're ready to change. You're ready to build. You're ready to become who you were meant to be. The farm is waiting. Imagine your life is a farm, your farm. Right now, maybe it's overgrown with weeds. Maybe the soil hasn't been tended in years. Maybe the barn needs repairs and the fences are falling down. That's okay. Every farm can be restored. Every field can be replanted. Every harvest can be rebuilt. But it requires a decision, a commitment. Starting today, you become the farmer of your life. You clear the weeds. You prepare the soil. You plant seeds. You tend them daily. You protect your crops. You prepare for winter. You wait for harvest. Some days will be hard. Some seasons will test you. Some years will challenge everything you thought you knew. But if you stay committed, if you trust the process, if you work with the seasons instead of against them, harvest will come. And when it does, you'll look back at today, at this moment, and you'll think, that's when everything changed. That's when I decided to stop drifting and start building. Don't wait for perfect. The soil will never be perfect. The weather will never be ideal. You'll never feel completely ready. Plant anyway. The farmer doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He plants when it's planting season, imperfect as it may be. You're in planting season right now, this moment, this day. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more prepared. Now. What seed will you plant today? 1 year from now. Let me paint you a picture. 1 year from now, you're reading this again. But you're different. You've read 20 books. You've saved money consistently. You've learned new skills. You've improved your health. You've built better relationships. You've taken responsibility for your life. You're not where you want to be yet. Success takes time. But you're further than you've ever been. And more importantly, you're moving. You have momentum. You have direction. You have hope. And you look back at today with gratitude, thinking, I'm so glad I started. I'm so glad I didn't wait another year. That future, it's available to you, but only if you start today. 5 years from now. Now imagine 5 years from today. You've planted. You've tended. You've learned. You've grown. You've harvested. You've survived winters. You've celebrated successes. You're financially stable, maybe even wealthy. You're healthy and strong. You're surrounded by people who inspire you. You're contributing value to the world. You're living a life you designed. People look at you and say, you're so lucky. Things just worked out for you. And you smile because you know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was disciplines. It was consistency. It was 5 years of small, smart choices compounded over time. That life? It's not fantasy. It's the natural result of applying what you've learned in this book, but only if you start today. The promise. I can't promise you'll never fail. You will. I can't promise the path will be easy. It won't. I can't promise success will come quickly. It doesn't. But I can promise this. If you apply these principles consistently over time, your life will change. Not because of magic, not because of luck, because of natural law. Plant seeds, tend them, wait for harvest. You'll reap. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. The question isn't whether it works. The question is, will you work it? Begin today, not tomorrow, today. Close this book and take one action, just one. Write down a goal. Save $5. Read 10 pages of another book. Go for a 10-minute walk. Call someone you've been meaning to reach out to. Clear out one thing you don't need. Anything. Just one small action that moves you forward. Then tomorrow, take another action. Then the next day, another. String together enough days and you've changed your life. The last thing. Years from now, when you're living the life you designed, when you're harvesting the rewards of seeds you planted long ago, you'll think back to this moment right here, right now, when you had a choice. Keep doing what you've always done, or start something new. Keep drifting, or start designing. Keep wishing, or start working. I hope you choose to start. I hope you choose to plant. I hope you choose to become the person you're capable of becoming. The life you want is waiting to be built. The field is ready. The season is now. Begin today. Your final reminders. The time will pass anyway. Build something with it. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to start. Small daily disciplines compound into extraordinary results. 1 year from now, you'll wish you had started today. The life you deserve is one decision away. Begin today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Now, close this book and take your first step.